Hello everyone and welcome to the opening round of the 2007 Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series, America's largest off-road racing tour. Jason Wygant here alongside Rachel Ayers, and we're pumped up because we're in the sands and the swamps of Vero Beach, Florida for the Parts Unlimited Triton GNCC. The series is about to get underway and everyone wants to get a view by any means necessary because of all the changes in this series, and it starts right at the top with the XC1 Pro class.
Oh, we have a big new contender over here from Europe. We have David Knight here joining us. He has some big shoes to fill though. Juha Salomon's left. He had a 2-year winning streak, so we're anxious to see what they all can do here with some new people joining us.
Yeah, but David Knight here filling in the shoes of Juha Salomon, and you know the other guys are pumped up. We're talking Barry Hawk, Charlie Mullins, Glenn Carney. They want to take the title Juha vacated, but Knight's going to be hard to stop. And let's not forget a whole new class we have this year, calling it XC2 Lights.
Yeah, we have a lot of people from the 250A moving up, and we also have some veterans moving down to that class. Going to be a nice mix there. We're going to talk about it a little later in our show, but it should be a lot of fun.
It should be. We got to get down to the start. We're going to lose our scenery because everybody wants to get a look at David Knight making his debut here in the U.S. It's time to go GNCC racing.
All right, it's a new season, new riders there like David Knight. Barry Hawk, he's a veteran, but he's got a whole new look and a new strategy on how to win this year's championship. Earlier, we talked to him.
You know, it's going to be a tough year, but you know, I've been in this a long time. I know I need to be on the podium week in, week out, and get as many wins as I can, and worry about myself.
He's also worried about the style with the big mutton chops. Not sure what's going on there. Now here's Shane Watts, who's always fast in the sand here in Florida, so he's kind of a dark horse pick today. And Charlie Mullins, only 20 years old, not old enough to drink the champagne in the podium, but he has earned several podium positions. He is fast, and he will be a contender as well. And here we go. This season is underway. Can-Am GNCC racing through the first turn in Florida, and it's a pair of Suzukis out front. Glenn Carney, the number 4, controls the first couple of corners. Here comes Mullins now to the inside. Side by side, they drag race into the woods, and we are underway. Now back to the starting line, XC2 Pro Lights, 254 strokes, and this class has just enjoyed its maiden voyage in GNCC racing. A little less horsepower than the bikes in the first row, but it doesn't hurt. Kurt Caselli there on the Red Bull KTM, or Chris Robertson of ThumperTalk.com Yamaha up front early here in Florida. Caselli, an ISDE champion, should be fast in that class. Now how about Watts out front early here with Mullins behind him. Here comes Carney driving back just a bit, and his teammate Jimmy Jarrett, new to the FMF Factory Suzuki team, is in the number 4 position. And Garrett Edmonston, what a story there. He is a local product from right here in Vero Beach and looks strong early. We're still looking for the Nighter, who's obviously deep in the pack. Jason Gilliland, Paul Whitley taking a face full of Florida swamp. And here's Caselli now out front still in the XC2 Pro Lights class. There goes Robertson, and down on the ground now goes, that's the Red Bull KTM Factory rider, Justin Williamson. There you see him picking his bike up. So tough break for Williamson, another Florida native. Watsy is pumping his fist to the crowd on the first lap. That is classic Shane Watts, but they love this cat, Garrett Edmonston. Moving into the number 2 position overall. The kid lives about 15 minutes from this track, and the crowd has got to be happy. Watts a favorite, Edmonston a favorite down here in Florida, and finally we see Knight beginning to work his way forward. He is lethal fast in all terrain, but especially here in sand. Jesse Robinson, a rookie in the pro class, looks good so far. We go a little further back for Hawk. Don't know if the mutton chops are working for him right now. He's a little bit further back in the pack than he'd like to be. Simo Kiersey, he's a German rider. Paul Whibley out of New Zealand. We got to go to our KTM spotlight.
If you're wondering why the very rugged conditions of GNCC racing don't always look as bad as they should be, it's probably because the riders out here are so very talented at what they do. The best off-road riders in the world have gathered at the GNCC events. Just go look under the KTM tent, for example, and you'll see a slew of top off-road champions. It starts with this, the 112 machine, Russell Bobbitt, your AMA National Enduro champion competing today. Next to him, David Knight on the 101. He is your World Enduro champion coming over from Europe to try GNCC racing. Next to him, his teammate Robbie Jenks. He is your AMA National Hare Scrambles champion. Then we go over to probably the most unique machine underneath the KTM tent, the 250 XCF, 254-stroke piloted by Justin Williamson in the new XC2 Pro Lights class. And next to Justin, 2 guest stars, Kurt Caselli on the 160 and Justin Soleil in the 762. They race primarily on the West Coast, but occasionally they come back east to have some fun and show people just how these tough courses can be made to look easy.
GNCC Racing on Versus is brought to you by Can-Am, Yamaha, Moose Racing, Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and KTM. Welcome back. The Parts Unlimited Triton GNCC from here in Vero Beach, and Shane Watts has a huge lead already. Now, some people had mentioned Watts very, very fast in the off-season races, but that does not always manifest itself with results once the series begins in earnest. But today, so far, Watts looks good. Here is Knight, though. He's worked his way from way back in the pack to fourth, and it looks like he's trying to work his way around Glenn Carney, who got the whole shot in this one. Now we've got Jarrett and Robinson battling, trying to stay inside the top 5, but they've all got a long way to go to catch this guy. Shane looks fast.
I'm definitely ready to go and try my best, and I've had a great preparation. I had bad off season with some negative stuff happening with the team I was riding for and that, but I'm out by myself. I have to buy my own bikes now, buy my own parts, so back to the grassroots, doing it for the enthusiasts this year. All those guys that have to buy their bikes and their parts, this is for them. This is only the first race of the year, so I'm not going to win no championship today. Just looking for a good result and just roll on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and all through the series.
Well, Watts is talking championship strategy. It's been a long, long time since we've heard him do that. Dominated this series 7 years ago, but he has had more injuries and more team trouble and bad luck than most of this field combined. Now it looks like Knight has moved up to second. Look out. And here comes Edmiston in third. They have displaced Mullins, who's dropping back further into the pack. Now we've got Jarrett battling in the top 5, and here comes Kersey, the German. Who would have thought a German rider could ride the sand? And here comes Barry Hawk, and Hawk digs in and goes down. Tough day for Hawk so far, and you can see this section of the course, the dirt is much tackier. The key to riding sand is to keep the throttle pegged. If you lose momentum at all, that's what happens. You're going to go down. Hawk unfortunately caught an edge, lost his momentum, and he went down in a heap. And we've got like 12 miles of racetrack out here. Barry's got to be bummed that we happen to have a camera out in the one part that he went down. Edmiston knows such trouble. He's got that big Kawasaki 4-stroke just chugging away. Mullins looks a little more aggressive now, and Knight has dropped back to fourth. So what happened to Knight, who looked good early, working his way through the pack? And they have left Kearney behind. Now, we have heard that Kearney is suffering actually from the flu, and you do not want to have an illness on a racetrack like this. It will sap your energy even if you are 100%. Caselli continues to lead the XC2 Lights class. He's gotten around Josh McLeavy, and Williamson is down again. And he just got passed by Cole Calkins. Williamson down, more riders crashing all over the place out here through this section. And here comes Rodney Smith, our first look at Rodney, the 5-time GNCC champ, our old buddy from the TV show, and Rodney's racing XC2 this year. Meanwhile, let's go to a Rocky Mountain tip.
Hi, I'm William Yoakley, pro GNCC ATV racer, and I'm here this week with the Rocky Mountain Rider Tip of the Week. This week's tip of the week is comfort in the winter months. We all know that it gets pretty cold and nasty in the winter months riding ATVs or dirt bikes, and it's very important to stay warm and dry. The backcountry jacket is fully waterproof with chest, back, and sleeve adjustable zippers, fleece line collar, and adjustable Velcro wrist closures for comfort and to keep any mud and water and cold air out. The jacket also features a 5-pocket design to pack anything you may need to take with you. The backcountry pants are heavy duty and fully waterproof as well, with the inner gaiter that tucks down into the boot while the outer leg still goes out over the boot to keep any mud, water, or any cold air out. The outer leg features a zipper design that made for comfort and ease for putting on and off the pants, so you don't have to roll up your pant leg every time. And the inner lower leg features a heavy-duty leather strap that prevents any wear and tear and holds up against the toughest heat. You can find these and other great ARC products at RockyMountainATVMC.com.
Welcome back to GNCC Racing on Versus, brought to you by Can-Am, Yamaha, Moose Racing, Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and KTM. Shane Watts is through his first pit stop and wheeling away and looking at the crowd and pumping his fist. This guy knows how to play it to the hilt. When things are good for Shane Watts, they are great for everyone around him. Unfortunately, the good moments and the great moments have been few and far between lately. But the crowd is just as pumped with this. Garrett Edmiston continuing to roll. He is in the number 2 spot. And now we've got another battle. Mullins and Knight exchanging spots in the pits. Mullins came in 3rd. He will get out now that Knight has to stop for fuel as well. And the big man from the Isle of Man, well, not dominating the race today, but staying up front with the leaders. And I've got to tell you, the endurance of Watts and Edmiston certainly has to be in question. So I'd say that Knight and Mullins are not out of it. And man, Watts looks good. And here's the thing, he's got so much experience, he doesn't waste energy when he gets to tricky sections like this. He doesn't have anyone really on the track pointing out the smart lines for him. He doesn't have much of a team with him anymore. But he's a pretty smart guy and he can figure it out on his own. Knight still in 4th, gonna try to track down Mullins. You see him looking around in these corners, trying to figure out where is the rider in front. Who do I have to catch? Gaselli continuing to lead that XC2 class, and Cole Calkins, a rider who's got a new lease on life thanks to that class, is 2nd, and Rodney Smith. Now Rodney's only racing part-time this year, but he's gonna race a few rounds in this XC2 class to help develop that RMZ 250. The 254 strokes ridden by these guys like Thad Duvall, and Duvall has gotten his stuck. Very little mud out here, but he found one of the muddy sections. Duvall, just 17 years old, is expected to be a star of the future, and that's why they have that XC2 class, so he can learn the ropes against guys like Rodney Smith. Now 3 laps in the books, probably halfway through this thing, and it continues to be Watts and Edmiston. So far, so good. The endurance, not a factor right now with these guys. Now in Knight's defense, he's riding with a broken hand. About a month ago, he was practicing and ran into a post on the inside of a corner on his practice track back at home. Has 3 broken bones in his hand, doesn't know how that will affect him, and we probably won't know until the race is over. Back to our XC2 class, that's Weisenfels battling it out. Williamson somewhere in the hunt here. John Barber, Cole Calkins, a lot of different riders to talk about in this group of XC2 riders. Rodney, not the most comfortable rider in sand, but I guarantee you as we move up north, Georgia, for example, our round 2 of the series, that is where Rodney goes especially fast. Now we flash back to our XC1 pros and our overall leaders. I don't know what has gotten into Shane Watts today. He has jumped in the rejuvenation machine, and he has flat left these guys. Now, Knight has gotten around Mullins. Those two have been swapping positions back and forth all day, but they have also swapped Edmiston back further into the pack. But I don't know if they're going to catch Watts. He has got a gigantic lead. It is all in his hands right now. If Watts fades, he's going to let those guys get back in the game. But if he's strong all the way to the end and maintains this pace, and just like Edmiston, and look at him all the way to the left side of the track, they try to find new lines. The center of the course gets so whooped out and beat up. They're all moving to the left of the track right now to try to find some smooth terrain. So basically today has been Watts out front, Edmiston, Mullins, and Knight swapping positions. And Jim Jarrett out of Ohio, not normally known for its sand riders, but Jarrett looks pretty good out here in the soft stuff. Watts has spent some time living in Florida. He's out of Australia, he's comfortable on the sand, and he shows it. And now we've got a 3-rider duel for this second place position. A little further back, we're seeing the Suzuki riders. Glenn Carney, meanwhile, expected to be a contender. And there he is. After the whole shot, he has dropped back. Remember, though, he's dealing with the flu today, but he still should be good all year.
No, 100% pumped to be back here in America again and looking forward to a 13-race season. You know, the weather's perfect today. Sand, it's going to be fast, it's rough, it's going to be everything I like.
Everything Shane Watts likes as well. Let's listen in at his pit.
Minute 40 on night. I'll let you know if it's a 7 lap. I'll let you know.
Watts is out. His crew has got to be happy. Let's go take a closer look. All right, down here just past the halfway mark, we're in the Shane Watts pits. Shane leading this race by nearly a minute. He is really laying it to everyone, and it's such a surprise because Shane actually is riding without factory support now. In fact, his pit crew is so new at this, they said, well, we really don't know who you would talk to for an interview for the TV show. So we're just going to give you the update ourselves. He's leading right now. Let's see if he can hold on through the final hour of this race. That has been Shane's problem the last couple of years, but he looks super determined today. All right, Knight blasting through the pits. Edmiston is staying in the hunt. Here comes Mullins. Let's listen to his pit.
You goggles? On my head. How you feeling? right in front of you. You can do it.
They're telling him he can do it. Let's see if he can. Can anybody catch Shane Watts? This is wild. Jarrett in the top 5, the rookie Robinson in 6th, Barry Hawk struggling in 7th. A lot more racing to come. Stay with us. GNCC Racing on Versus, brought to you by Can-Am, Yamaha, Moose Racing, Rocky Mountain, and KTM. And here it is, the human drama continues as Shane Watts is still rolling away with the lead and possibly a win here at the Parts Unlimited Triton GNCC. Watts was definitely strong in some of the off-season races, but those are 2-hour events. This is a 3-hour GNCC, and of course they do not have the same level of competition that we see out here today. Guys like Knight has not really raced Watts maybe ever in his entire career, so no one knew how these guys would match up. Edmiston still holding on in 3rd, and Mullins in 4th. But Watts is the big story of the day, and he does not look to be fading one bit. And through the finish line we go. Another lap in the books for Shane Watts. He's trying to put some of the lap riders between him and Knight. And Knight's a long way back. He just made his way through that swamp, headed toward the finish. Here comes Edmiston in 3rd. And everywhere Edmiston goes, you hear the cheers of the Florida faithful. Mullins in the number 4 position. Now remember, he was 2nd earlier. Oh, we got a rider stuck in this swampland before the finish line, and that is a tough section. And that's how you do it in the GNCCs. Let the fans burn their energy and get you out. That's totally legal, and for the most part, necessary, or that guy would be there for probably until we raced here next year. Jimmy Jarrett coming through, trying to hold on to a top 5 position, and Hawk, again, back in the pack today. But you got to expect the unexpected here in Florida. Hawk struggling, and Watts is railing. Now Knight appears to be on his pace and trying to make up time down the stretch. But remember, he is struggling with a broken hand. Will that affect him late in this game? Jarrett is 5th, Kersey the German in 6th. Hawk now back in 7th. And you see Hawk just not as aggressive through these sand whoops as Watts or Knight, who are the leaders. And now on to the last lap. And the fans beginning to recognize what might just happen. Shane Watts has won 1 GNCC in the last 6 years, and he's working on another one today. Caselli, meanwhile, trying to put his name in the record books as your first ever XC2 champion. And how about Williamson, who was down twice early in this thing, has come all the way back for 2nd in that class. But it is Watts, Knight, Edmiston, Mullins, and Jarrett in the top 5. Those guys have pretty much been there all day long. But if anyone was waiting for Watts to fade, if they're waiting for his privateer effort to come unraveled, it doesn't appear like it is going to happen. No one has made even so much as a dent in his lead. Edmiston made a bit of a run earlier, but he crashed, he stalled his motorcycle, and if you're a young privateer from nearby, you just want to get on the podium, and that's what Edmiston is working on. As for Mullins, well, he was 2nd here last year, so 4th today. I don't know if that's going to cut it. We'll have to talk to him and his team maybe after the race and see how they view his performance. Caselli, meanwhile, a Californian. He has great credentials. He will not race the entire season of XC2 Pro Lights. He's not in for the championship haul. And now we see guys battling that section as John Barber goes down in this swamp. Nothing to be embarrassed about there. Even Rodney Smith, the veteran, struggling through there. I think that's Scotty Watkins trying to make his way through this very, very tough section of track. There is mud out here, even on a dry, dusty day. You have to be versatile to race GNCC. Robbie Jenks going by there, another rider down in the mud. This is as tough as it gets, but Shane Watts has had no problems today. This is Shane Watts' 1999-2000 vintage. David Knight will probably be happy with a couple of championship points today. He has done his job. He's kept himself in title contention despite riding with injury. But Shane Watts, I think the question is already about to be asked, and that is this a fluke? Is it a one-shot deal here in Florida in the sand where he's comfortable, or is he in it for real all season long? Got to wonder about the same thing with this guy, Edmiston, the native of Vero Beach. Will he be in it once we move to the woods and trees of the north, or is he just a one-hit wonder, rather, down here in his home track? Wattsy is headed home, headed to victory. His pit crew cheering him on, the fans cheering him as well. And unbelievable what this man out of Australia has been able to do. He has slayed the Dragons with an effort consisting basically of his buddy and his wife in the pits and himself doing most of the work on his own. He has taken down the factory riders here in Florida. Knight is going to hold on for second, and what a great story. A rider from Australia, a rider from the United Kingdom, and the local boy taking third, Garrett Edmonston. But here is your winner. Shane Watts has done the impossible and will win the Triton GNCC, and he is telling the crowd to get pumped up and get fired up because he has done it for them, and they are as ecstatic as he is.
This is for all the guys that have to buy their parts, buy their bikes. That's what I go to do this year, so hopefully I get some support out of this now. Bloody oath, this is awesome.
And they love it. Shane Watts taking the win here. Knight and Edmonston second and third. And a great job of the rest of these riders to finish in the top 10 at the end of a very rough day. But Shane Watts has made history. For Rachel Ayers, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.
The Grand National Cross Country Championship is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclist Association. Rights, Riding, Racing. AMA. Join now.